What's up, guys? Scotty2 Hockey here. And in light of Carey Price getting his 315th franchise-leading win, I'd like to make a reaction video on why he is my personal favorite player of all time in any position on any team. I'm a diehard Habs fan, and Carey Price will always be my favorite player. My favorite players of all time are Carey Price, Dominik Hasek, and Saku Koivu. The reason why I'm a diehard Carey Price fan because I was really on the Habs bandwagon as a kid. I loved them. I'm 30 years old. I've loved them since I've been 5 years old. I've always had their posters on my wall. Every time I ever played hockey, I always imagined myself as a Montreal Canadiens player. I've been a diehard since I was a kid, but I've really become a knowledgeable hockey fan since I was about 16 to 18. And that's when Carey Price really broke into the league. When I was about 20 years old is when he really broke into the league and had his sophomore year and was very good. As for Carey Price, he does have some great career numbers, some great career accomplishments. I'd like to start off talking about my personal favorite moments with Carey Price. My number one personal favorite moment, it's probably because it goes back so far. It's in the where's the 2 here? It's my number one personal favorite moment is when Price shut out the Bruins in Game 7, 2008, 5-0. I remembered what it was. I had to go check the score. I couldn't remember what the score was. When he shut out in his sophomore year playing against the Boston Bruins, because in his rookie year, people weren't sure what Carey Price was going to be. They were after losing Jose Theodore. He won a Hart. He won a Vezina. People thought he was the future of the franchise. It didn't pan out. And then along comes Carey Price, this guy who got drafted very high. All kinds of expectations on him. Won a World Junior. Won a Calder Cup. Was a CHL Goalie of the Year. He came in his rookie year, had 24 wins, so his sophomore year, this was the year which really tested Carey Price, which made Habs fans wonder, is this going to be the guy? And then he comes in against the Bruins, who were very good that season. If I'm not mistaken, they were very good that season. They were definitely a very tough team to play against, and he goes all the way 7 games against them, has a heart and soul series, has good numbers, and shuts them out in Game 7 and holds the Habs into that game. The Habs only had a 2-0 lead going into the third period. They ended up winning 5-0, and a big part of it was Carey Price making huge saves. And as a rookie, I believe he was only 21 at the time, 20 years old, something like that. As a rookie to stand on his head like that was great. He came in the league in 2007. Like I said, prior to coming in the league, he had a great run in the AHL. He won the Calder Cup. He was the CHL Goalie of the Year, and he won a World Junior title. We all remember that. Jonathan Toews scored 3 shootout winners. Carey Price jumping in the air. But as for my other favorite Carey Price moments, the recent moment where he consoled the kid who lost his mother from cancer, gave him an autograph stick, gave him a big hug. The moment back when he took a selfie with the kid before, when the kid was taking a selfie and he snuck in there and gave a smirk. Just that he's such a good, humble human being, and the way he treats kids, he's kind of like Subban that way. Subban wasn't as humble, obviously, but the way he is with kids, I really like that as a father myself. And he's a father of 2 beautiful kids himself. His 2014 playoff run, when he went to the Eastern Conference Finals, I truly believe he would have went to the final. I'm not sure if he would have won a Stanley Cup. I hope he does win a Stanley Cup eventually, but I believe he would have went to the final if he didn't get run by Chris Kreider. We all know what happened. It's a dirty play. I don't need to go into it, but there's a big reason why Habs fans hate Chris Kreider. My other big memorable moment was when he hit Chris Kreider about a year or 2 later. I believe it was not the season after that. The first game Price plays against New York after coming back from his big injury that knocked him out of the playoffs and made him miss a bunch of the next season. As soon as he sees Kreider coming behind the net, he lines Kreider up while he's back there with the puck. He sees Kreider coming in, trying to be cheap, trying to sneak that puck, and Price stands him up, lays him out, drops him. And it was a great moment. The crowd went crazy. And it was one of my personal favorite Carey Price moments. My other favorite Carey Price moment was watching him set the single-season franchise records when he won 43 wins on a great season. That was the year he swept the award show. And my other favorite Carey Price moment was when he cleaned house at the NHL award shows in that dope suit he had. He looked so dapper. He won the Lindsay, the Jennings, the Hart, the Vezina, first goalie to clean house like that ever. Absolutely great. I know other goalies have won awards, but the combination of awards he won, he was the first goalie to win all those because he won the Pearson, the Lindsay, the Hart, the Jennings, and the Vezina. So that says something for Carey Price right there. He was drafted 2005, 5th overall. There was big controversy when he got drafted. They did have Jose Theodore, a former Hart winner, a former Vezina winner, and Pierre Maguire pretty much was nuts on Montreal making that pick. Excuse me 1 second, guys. It's always something when I'm shooting these videos. It's always something. My kid runs up and opens the door halfway through it, of course. Anyways, guys, well, like I was saying, Pierre Maguire, he made a big deal out of Price getting drafted because they did have Jose Theodore. It wasn't a need that the Habs desperately needed. You look at what they had, though. They didn't have a pile of goaltending depth, but they were drafting a guy that was supposed to be a generational talent. Everybody knew coming into the draft, Carey Price was a top-notch goalie. He had all the abilities. He was so calm under pressure. He just had this way about him, this aura about him, that you knew he was going to be a good goalie. I knew when he came into Montreal how good he was going to be. He just stood right out to me, and he almost instantly became my favorite player. What did I do with the numbers? Oh, there's the numbers. I was looking for the stat sheets. Now, as for Carey Price stats, in his career, he has 1,615 games played. That's all times for the Habs, I'm pretty sure the most. So he has 315 wins. He has the most wins, of course. 223 losses, 67 overtime losses, .918 save percentage, 2.47 goals against, 43 shutouts, and 13 points. And these are on teams that never truly had stud defensive cores. He had a couple good power plays in his day, a couple good penalty kills, a couple good teams with special teams, no real big scoring threats. The one year he did have a really good team, the year Galchenyuk scored 30, Pacioretty scored 30, Subban was on fire, was the one year he went all the way to the conference finals, and his team didn't score part of the playoffs to get him to the conference finals that year either. He had to stand on his head in the Ottawa series and in the Boston series, and he did good in both of them. And he would have did the same in New York if he didn't get run. That's just my opinion. As for some of his accolades, actually I'm going to his playoff numbers first. His playoff numbers could be better, but his goals against and his save percentage reflect why Carey Price isn't the reason why the Habs haven't won a Stanley Cup. He has stood in his head in some playoffs, and the team has just let him down. The New York Rangers series in 2016 was a prime example. He had an under 2 goals against. He had about a 1.86 goals against. He had a .933 save percentage, and the team could not score. They got swept in 6. Your goalie has a .933 save percentage and under 2 goals against, and you get swept in 6. That shows right there that teams in front of Carey Price are less than lackluster. Some of the teams we've had in front of Carey Price that he's dragged into the playoffs are atrocious, and that is why the Habs have had to knock for the past decade that Carey Price is the only reason why they've done anything. Yes, they've had some good players. They've had the Subbans. They've had Pacioretty. They brought Vanek in on a deadline once, and he played really good and well for him in the playoffs. Rene Bourque played good for him in the playoffs, too. They've had some decent players that have stepped up at times, but nobody has stepped up consistently like Carey Price has. And to put last year on him was just ridiculous. The team was brutal from top to bottom. The defense was atrocious. No goalie would have won on that team. No goalie would have played well on that team. I watched every single game, and every single game was devastating to watch. They had the worst style of hockey ever. This stupid back passing, constantly passing it back. You'd swear they were playing back in the era where there was no forward passing, and they were just scared to come up the ice. They couldn't gain the zone. They went offside all the times. There were so many offside challenges. It was just ridiculous. There was nights the team was so bad that the fourth line was their best line. It's just brutal what they had going last year. So as for Price, I can't put any of last year on him. Yes, he did struggle. Yes, he did look bad in certain games, like the Edmonton game last year where he lost 7-1 and he ended up smashing his stick off the thing. He had a bad game that game, but for the most part, it was the team in front of him playing atrocious. And that's not excuses. That's what I seen. As for his accolades, I had somebody tell me earlier online, Carey Price is a good goalie. He's going to go down as a good goalie, but he'll always go down as the guy remembered not for winning a cup. Well, I'll always remember him as the guy who had all these accolades. 6 All-Stars, 2014, 2015, he cleaned house and set records. He won the Hart, he won the Jennings, he won the Lindsay, he won the Pearson, he won the Vezina. He led the league in goals against, wins, and save percentage. He had Olympic gold in 2014. He won a World Junior in 2007. He won a Calder Cup in 2007. He won the Lou Marsh Award for Canada's Best Athlete of the World. He was a World Cup champion, and he's also been a CHL Goalie of the Year. And if there's anything I'm forgetting, guys, I'm sorry. But those are some of the reasons why Carey Price is my favorite goalie of all time. And I'm so happy to see Mr. 315 back in action. For me, he goes down as the #2 greatest goalie of all time. If he had the team that Dryden had back in the 70s, he would have 8 cups, 9 cups. Dryden played with the big 3. He played with Lafleur. He played with sick teams. It goes Waugh, Price, Dryden. That's just my opinion. Anyways, guys, I hope you like this video, and Carey Price will always be my #1 favorite goalie, Mr. 315, and I hope he picks it up and gets us in the playoffs this year. If there's any guy that can, it's him. For me, the best goalie on earth is still Carey Price. He has the consistency, he has the numbers, he has the experience. Vasilevsky's right behind him. Price and Vasilevsky are my #1 and 2. You can say I'm being biased because I'm a Habs fan, but I will always call Carey Price the best goalie on earth as long as he's able to perform up to his abilities and he's healthy. without a doubt, he's the #1 in the world in my opinion. So Carey Price, 315 wins, all-time winningest Hab, my personal favorite player. Tell me what you thought of the video, guys. What are your thoughts on Price? Do you think he's going to get us into the playoffs this year? Do you think the team's going to be able to score enough if Price doesn't play well and get him into the playoffs? But I believe he will play well. And I can't say I believe we're going to get into playoffs. It's 50-50. But fingers crossed. I got faith. I know they can do it, guys. Anyways, guys, hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like. Please hit a subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications for my upcoming videos. Feel free to leave a comment. And stay tuned tomorrow for my preview of the game and my recap of the game. Go Habs, go, baby. Scotty2Hockey over and out.